How's it going, everybody? I'm Tombstone. Welcome to Tombstone's Takes. And sometimes I was just wondering if you ever just love a story and you want every book you read to be sublime, and then sometimes they're not. And it's sad when they're not. You know, some days I get paid to talk about books in my real job. And that's pretty cool. Other days I get paid to babysit people who get paid to pay attention to how the printers in the library are working. And then they come to me and they're like, I don't know what's wrong with the printer. And I'm like, that's below my pay grade. That's your pay grade. Why don't you know more about this printer than I do? And then some days publishing companies give you free books, and that's kind of cool. So recently this publishing company gave me this free book, and well, I asked for it. I just said, I want this book. Is there any way you can get my hands on this book? And lo and behold, they gave it to me, and man, it was more than sublime. Yeah, I said this in one of my short videos. I'll post the link to that if you want right up here. But one of the things that I said was that this was the best book about true grit. It was described as true grit on Mars, but only if you include 1950s diners and Civil War era robots that are trying to kill you, and strange Martian drugs that get into your system, and there's a lot of moths, and Mars is alive. And there's probably some slight spoilers there, but guess what? I loved this book. It's called The Strange. It's by Nathan Ballingrud, and I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads, and I never give anything 5 stars. I mean, I used to, but then I got all opinionated and snobby and stuff like that. But that's just because I see flaws in books, even if I like them. And for a lot of books that people rate 4 or 5 stars, that's a 3 stars to me. 3 stars to me is a good, solid, fun book. And some of the mistakes in the book don't make all that much difference. But anyway, I gave this book 5 stars. It was cool. Anyway, what was good about this book? Well, I guess the question, if I gave it 5 stars, is what wasn't good about this book. So if I had to list things that were good about this book and that just made it a sublime reading experience, well, I guess I'd have to say that I liked the characters. Annabelle Crisp, she's kind of annoying and she's the main character, but she's only annoying because she's a young girl and she's growing up and she's learning. And you can see that growth and development in her as a person. But who hasn't ever been an annoying teenager and seen the injustices in life and wanted to go and find somebody to help them fight to correct those injustices? So it was very relatable in that way, and that was awesome. So what else was good about this book was the prose. It was crisp, it was clean, it was beautiful. You never got lost in the sentence to feel well, what's the point of this sentence or this tale or what the author's trying to get across? So that was good. And, there were quite a few other things. I mean, obviously it was exciting. It was poignant. It was touching. And thematically, it's kind of crazy to see a nice slice of how justice and injustices occur in life and how hard it is to reconcile those things. So that was good. But some of those things were also what makes the book ugly, not in a sense of content warnings or anything like that, but just the fact that in order to make a story good at times, authors have to show the ugly aspects of life. I think too often controversy swirls around books when people are trying to put some verisimilitude of life in their stories, and then people sometimes get triggered by that. But that's not really where I'm trying to go so much as sometimes when you're reading weird and horror fiction, one of the things that you can do is you can see some of the uglier aspects of life and try and reconcile that in ways that you might not explore in other genres. And this book really does that well. So what was bad about this book? I guess I went out of order and went like the good and then the ugly, and I skipped the bad. But what was bad about this book, or is bad about this book? You know, one of the things that it's not bad about the book. I just think it's bad. It's not really bad. I guess I'll just say what I was going to say anyway. And that's that I think that it's sad that Nathan Ballingrud doesn't have a bigger audience, because I think this book is awesome and people will want to read it. And I'm hoping that maybe we can get some more readers to him with this book. Maybe this video, maybe people will watch it. Who knows? My audience is kind of small, but man, maybe if we can get people reading this book, it'll get some attention because it's pretty awesome. I don't care that my audience is all that small. I just like to talk about books. So let's talk about the interesting in this book. I think what I said straight out is interesting. If you don't want to read a story about 1950s, 1940s, 1930s era flying saucers coming to Mars and having Western frontier towns and 1950s diners and strange Martian drugs and Civil War era robots who are trying to kill you, then I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting. I think that it's fun that you should want to read that. I mean, because it's so much better than movies like Pacific Rim, where you've got giant robots punching giant kaiju in the face, and that's all that matters. I mean, the story in that wasn't very good, but I loved it just for the fact that it's giant robots and giant monsters. And this has got so many more poignant and awesome ideas in it and good writing. So that makes it interesting, right? I hope you like my picture of Maleficent behind me. When she turns into a dragon, that's pretty cool too. And I like that in a Disney movie when witches turn into dragons. That's all that I need. I mean, that movie's not all that great, but I love it because Maleficent turns into a dragon after she calls upon all the powers of hell. And man, yeah, that's awesome. Green fire, dude. But the strange, it doesn't have green fire. It has green Martian drugs and moths. So yeah, it's cool. But I guess the thing that's interesting about this is that this is good. And I gave it 5 stars. And it's good because it's interesting. It has interesting characters. It has good development of both the plot and the characters and the storyline. And it touches upon interesting themes that are universal to everybody. I'm also kind of sad that like this book doesn't come out for like another month or 2. I think it comes out in March. I'll put the date right up there. But I think it's sad that because I'll get like a spattering of people watching this video until the book comes out. And then maybe when the book comes out, they might look it up, but hopefully they'll look at this video and mark it on their calendars that they should be reading this pretty soon. And if I seem kind of melancholy today, that's just because sometimes, like I said, you just want to read and have a sublime experience, whether or not the book is supposed to scare you, whether or not it's supposed to make you have fun, maybe it's supposed to thrill you, maybe it's supposed to romance you, whatever it is that you're doing. You want your book to be able to do that and to give you that sublime experience. And you just want to shut the book and be like, oh, that was good. And then pick up another book that you can have another experience like that. And you can't. You're going to go through a few books and you're going to be like, oh man, this book just isn't as good, or whatever else it is. And so it's kind of sad to know that my next read might not be this good. So there's my ramble about The Strange by Nathan Ballingrud. Let's make this dude a household name because his books are good. Yeah, well, there's tons of authors I'd like to be more of a household name. Yeah. But let's do it. Let's get this guy some reads and whatnot. But anyway, thanks for watching. I had fun. Oh, and I totally forgot. I don't do stars. I do like tombstones. So I gave this book 5 tombstones. You're going to see them slide across the screen because the magic of technology. And that's cool. So I'm going to put those down here. They're going to like slide across the screen. You're going to be like, tombstones, yay. Give this book 5 tombstones. Cool. I should read it. Go read it. I think I'm supposed to ask you to like and subscribe if you like this video. I'll be doing some other things soon, maybe some video essays on some topics and whatnot. Maybe a couple more reviews. Let's do it. Watch my shorts too. I try and come out with one most days and whatnot. I'm Tombstone, man. Even my mother-in-law calls me Tombstone. This has been Tombstone's Takes. Till next time.